The opening of the Day and Night Vibes campaign. A film that stirred controversy during its shooting in Hong Kong amid the pandemic, now not accessible in the city. And the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees urged countries to reconsider their funding suspension decision. Hello and welcome to TVB News. Chief Secretary for Administration Eric Chan said today he hopes residents of the city can live in a happy environment. Chan made the remark at the opening ceremony of the Day and Night Vibes campaign, under which a series of activities will be held across 18 local districts. Wim Sang-ai reports.
1, 2, 3.
This was the opening ceremony of the Day and Night Vibes campaign across the city's 18 districts. Chief Secretary for Administration Eric Chan and other officials were there to attend the ceremony. The campaign will last for 5 months, providing activities that are unique to each district. Speaking after the ceremony, Chan said he hopes the campaign, such as the Central and Western District Market, can provide residents with more places to go during their spare time. The event also attracted tourists, including this couple from South Korea, who said the market is the first place they visit after arriving in Hong Kong.
We can feel the atmosphere of Hong Kong. I think this is very attractive.
Meanwhile, the government mentioned that more than 80 major events will be organized in the first half of the year, including the upcoming visit of football superstar Lionel Messi and his team Inter Miami. In response to opinions that authorities should attract well-known singers to hold concerts in the city, Secretary for Culture, Sports and Tourism Kevin Yeung said each government spending item needs to be carefully and appropriately planned to bring economic benefits to the city as a whole.
Of course, the direct economic benefits will be the number of tourists coming to attend these mega events, as that will bring a lot of other incomes relating to, for example, the accommodation as well as their spending in Hong Kong. But more important, the mega events bring a lot of, for example, management, administration, organization, as well as the promotion of Hong Kong as a major event capital.
News 9, TVB News.
A Hollywood production featuring Oscar-winning actress Nicole Kidman, which was partly filmed in Hong Kong, debuted last Friday. The series is not accessible in the SAR. The Amazon TV series was also embroiled in controversy 2.5 years ago after quarantine-free arrangements were granted to the lead actress, sparking concerns over potential loopholes in the city's anti-pandemic efforts. Another concern after its release, alleged political elements in some scenes. In August 2021, at the height of the COVID pandemic, Hollywood star Nicole Kidman was spotted filming around Hong Kong for Amazon TV series Expats. The movie was adapted from a 2016 novel, The Expatriates, by Korean-American writer Janice Y.K. Lee, who was born in Hong Kong. The plot revolves around the lives of American women in the SAR, including the protagonist played by Kidman, who's also the series' executive producer. But controversy ensued after the star was found to have been granted exemption from the city's COVID quarantine. The government at the time said the shoot would be helpful to Hong Kong's economic development. Some film critics described the Hong Kong life in Expats as tragic, lonely, and boring, having stripped Hong Kong of its best features. Another question was on the possible political elements. Slogans that read, "I want real universal suffrage," could be seen around the film sets. The trailer of Expats also features suspected footage from the 2014 Occupy Central movement. The series was out last Friday on Amazon Prime Video, but Hong Kong viewers could not access the show. Some lawmakers said the SAR government should step up the vetting process before offering assistance for the filming crew.
Whenever the government provide any kind of convenience or leeway for any commercial crew for any purpose to come to Hong Kong, I felt like it has to be in the benefit of the Hong Kong city, Hong Kong's image. Now, the problem with this movie is that it depicted a scene from 2014 where Occupy Central was taking place. So one has to question, why did Hong Kong government provide any kind of convenience for their crew to come to Hong Kong to make this movie in the first place?
Tanky Tin, spokesperson for the Federation of Hong Kong Filmmakers, meanwhile said Hong Kong was a filming location for some Hollywood movies before, and they did bring economic benefits to the city. He says such access restriction and viewing is rare in Hong Kong, but it's likely the series investors and production company are not clear about Hong Kong laws and try to minimize the risks. The Culture, Sports and Tourism Bureau said authorities provided on-location shooting assistance to the filming crew for more than a year, which involved some 200 crew members. The Bureau added the on-site film shooting offered opportunities for local crew to take part in international film and television productions. Secretary for Labour and Welfare Chris Sun said the government has asked charity group Yan Oi Tong to submit a report over a suspected case of child abuse involving a 9-month-old baby girl. The infant remains in critical condition and is undergoing treatment in the pediatric intensive care unit at Tuen Mun Hospital. The baby girl's community babysitter was arrested in connection with the case. The Social Welfare Department said the nanny has completed training and started to provide babysitting services this month. The 9-month-old was the first infant under her care through Yan Oi Tong. Labour Chief Chris Sun said authorities will review and optimize the training guidelines and requirements. Social welfare sector lawmaker Tik Chi Yun said these community nannies are half voluntary and training programs take only 2 to 3 hours. He urges the government to improve the service quality and the relevant monitoring mechanism. Swiss commodities trader Trafigura said it is assessing the security risks of further Red Sea voyages after firefighters put out a blaze on a tanker attacked by Yemen's Houthi rebel group on Friday. American military forces said U.S. Navy and other vessels provided assistance after the Marlin Luanda was hit by a Houthi anti-ship missile. More from NBC News.
It was a direct hit. Missiles fired by the Houthis, a Yemeni rebel group backed by Iran, lit up the Marlin Luanda tanker ship in the Gulf of Aden. According to the French Navy, whose ships were among the rescuers, the blaze took 20 hours to put out. The Indian Navy also pitched in, drawing praise from the ship's captain.
We had actually lost the hope that we won't be able to fight this fire, but these guys were really tough.
Incredibly, the ship's operator, Trafigura, said no one was killed or injured, and it's now sailing toward a safe harbor. The Houthis called the attack vindication of the oppressed Palestinian people and a response to British and American aggression, and vowed to continue their strikes against commercial shipping until Israel halts its operations in the Gaza Strip. Early on Saturday, the U.S. fired back. America's CENTCOM said this morning's strike destroyed a Houthi anti-ship missile. The American and British navies have pounded Houthi targets for more than 2 weeks, they say, to protect international shipping. The White House addressed the operation earlier this week.
Whether it's ashore or knocking their stuff out of the sky when it's on the way to these ships like we did this morning, it's about self-defense. There's no double standard here.
But many shipping companies have already diverted, avoiding the Red Sea and taking the much longer route around the Cape of Good Hope, as Israel's war in the Gaza Strip echoes far beyond its borders. Matt Bradley, NBC News, Tel Aviv.
The U.S. and Iraq held a first session of formal talks on Saturday in Baghdad, aimed at winding down the mission of a U.S.-led military coalition formed to help fight the Islamic State group in Iraq. Iraq said in a statement that Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani has sponsored the launch of the first round of talks without giving further details. On Thursday, Iraq said it had agreed with the U.S. to form a commission to discuss winding down the U.S.-led coalition in Iraq. The commission will formulate a clear timetable for the gradual reduction of international coalition advisors in Iraq and the end of the coalition's military mission. The U.S. has had a continuous presence in Iraq since its 2003 invasion. Although all U.S. combat forces left in 2011, thousands of troops returned in 2014 to help the government of Iraq defeat the Islamic State. Vladimir Putin used the opening of a war memorial in St. Petersburg to accuse Ukraine, the Baltic states, and other European countries of Russophobia. The Russian leader opened a monument dedicated to Soviets killed in World War II. Saturday marked the 80th anniversary of the end of the siege of Leningrad. It is estimated that around 1.5 million people died during the 3-year battle for the city, which is now called St. Petersburg. Later flanked by Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko, Putin delivered a speech in which he said Russophobia and xenophobia have become state policy in European countries. He also criticized Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania for their treatment of Russians, saying minorities there are treated as subhuman and denied basic rights. Still ahead, a Cathay Pacific plane bound for Penang turns back to Hong Kong because of an unusual smell in flight cabin. A cat rescue operation in Yau Ma Tei. And 2 jockeys fall off their horses at Shotton Racecourse. A Cathay Pacific plane bound for Penang in Malaysia had to turn back to Hong Kong International Airport after an odor was detected in the flight cabin soon after takeoff. Flight CX-633 was scheduled to depart for Penang at 8:15 this morning. Sources say there were about 190 passengers on board the Airbus A330 aircraft. Soon after takeoff, an unusual smell was reported in the flight cabin. The plane's captain decided to turn back to Hong Kong for safety reasons. The jetliner landed safely without any injury. The affected passengers resumed their journey on another flight shortly after midday. A new Kowloon Ferry service was launched today between Cheung Kwan O and Sai Wan Ho. The ferry route links the Cheung Kwan O South Waterfront Promenade and a spot near the Eastern Magistrates Courts. The passengers can take the ferry between 6:45 a.m. and 7:45 p.m. daily. But the ferry will only be in service once every hour. Passengers can also bring pets on board but are advised to look after the animals to prevent them from causing disturbances. Meanwhile, a pet cat has died despite being rescued by firemen. The cat was suspected of being trapped between a drain pipe and the wall of a building in Yau Ma Tei. The firemen deployed an aerial ladder fire truck to rescue the cat. A net and a stick were also used in the operation. The firemen placed the cat inside the net before taking it back inside the apartment. Police received a report at around 11:30 a.m. saying a British short-haired cat jumped outside a window and got trapped. Staff from the Fire Services Department and the Society for the Prevention and Cruelty to Animals later arrived at the scene. 2 jockeys fell off their horses at Shotton Racecourse today. Right after the start of the 1,400-meter race, jockey Keith Yeung fell off Sugar Ball, but Sugar Ball stayed on course to finish without the jockey. The Hong Kong Jockey Club later said both the jockey and the horse suffered no serious injuries. Another accident happened in the 1,600-meter race. In the final 300 meters, jockey Hugh Bowman fell off his horse One Heart One. One Heart One could be seen running between 2 other horses before collapsing. After Bowman fell on the ground, he managed to dodge other horses and was not hurt. One Heart One, meanwhile, suffered serious injuries and had to be put down. A test version of China's Kuaizhou rocket completed a vertical takeoff and landing experiment on Friday. The feat was said to have laid the foundations for the development of reusable rockets in China. The test rocket is being developed by X-Space technology company, which is affiliated with the China Aerospace Science and Industry Corporation. The rocket uses a propellant made of liquid oxygen and liquid methane. The flight time lasted 22 seconds. The rocket hovered in the air for 9 seconds before making a steady landing. Mainland media reported that the Kuaizhou series has the first small launch rocket in the world laden with satellites. It also comes with a low cost, rapid launch capability, and high payload capacity. Another airline in America, United, has cleared the Boeing 737 MAX 9 for takeoff. It's the fleet's first weekend back in the skies since the Federal Aviation Administration grounded them after a terrifying mid-air incident earlier this month. NBC News has more about how passengers feel being back on board.
Tonight, the big push to get the MAX 9 back in the friendly skies, now in full flight. Passengers landing on last night's flight from Vegas to Portland caught off guard.
When I saw the seat card that it was a 737 MAX 9, and I thought, oh, okay, we're flying again, and I didn't think too much about it, actually.
Alaska putting them back in the air 3 weeks after that door plug on Flight 1282 blew out over Portland, with some passengers showing apprehension.
I would have asked to change to another flight. I think they should have told us at least.
Alaska showing what they say are completed rigorous inspections to its 737 MAX 9, deeming each plane as airworthy. The airline showing its confidence by seating its own COO next to the plane's door plug on the first flight back in service.
But we're going to put a higher bar for Boeing, and we're going to hold their feet to the fire in terms of aircraft delivery and quality.
Boeing's company culture and safety standards called into question, the NTSB and FAA investigating what went wrong, while several passengers have filed suit. Thursday, Boeing stopped all 737 MAX production to focus on quality control. In a message to employees, the company's CEO saying our long-term focus is on improving our quality so that we can regain the confidence of our customers. We own these issues and we'll make them right. All of this as more passengers put their trust and their lives in vows to maintain sky-high expectations.
And that's the news. Thank you for watching.